Hi everyone. I I don't really know how to start this. My name is Trisha, and I recently found out that I am pregnant. I found out a week ago. No, almost 2 weeks ago. Today, according to my app, I am 5 weeks and 4 days pregnant. I wanted to make these videos because I've found myself recently spending a lot of time online on YouTube and Google and stuff, just Googling every and anything. And I know a lot of women will probably do that when you're pregnant, but in my situation, I'm now pregnant for the second time. The first time I had a miscarriage. So I've been looking up a lot of videos of other women's experiences being pregnant after a miscarriage. And I don't know, I was just watching all their videos and their stories, and I kind of just realized like I have a story as well that I could share. And a lot of the stories on miscarriage that I've seen hasn't quite really related to my story. I know every situation is going to be slightly different, but they never really were the same. And what I mean by that is most of the videos that you see, or most miscarriages in general, or even miscarriages that you think of, you know you're having a miscarriage because it's accompanied with bleeding and cramping. But for my miscarriage, I had a miscarriage. And from what I have recently read is even though miscarriage is rare in general, it's the rarer of miscarriages, I guess. Like 20% of miscarriages, 20% of pregnancies are miscarriages, but 1% of pregnancies is a miscarriage. And if you don't know what a miscarriage is at some point the baby or fetus stops developing, and essentially you have a miscarriage because it stops developing. However, your body does not recognize that it stopped developing, so you will continue to have pregnancy symptoms for an amount of time. And even when those symptoms do go away, you don't have the cramping and the bleeding that's accompanied with most miscarriages. That usually signals something's wrong. So in my case, I found out I was pregnant, went for my tests. I think I had like 2 or 3 doctor's appointments before my 12-week appointment. I had some cramping here and there, like throughout the pregnancy. And everyone and everything online said that's normal, that's fine, it's okay. A little light cramping is normal. It's stretching of the uterus and implantation and blah, 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 blah. So I never thought anything of it. And people that I do know that have been pregnant had also said, oh yeah, I've had some cramping before too. Not a big deal. So I had some cramping. I did get some, pregnancy symptoms like really sore boobs, nausea, stuff like that. Like I did get those symptoms. I think they started around like 7 weeks, and then they kind of stopped at 9 weeks, and 9 weeks is close to 12 weeks. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I just like kind of lucked out on it and everything. Well, when I went for my 12-week appointment and the doctor went to hear the heartbeat, there was no heartbeat. And she was optimistic and was like, well, maybe we have the dates wrong, which I knew I had my dates right, so I knew something was wrong. She then scheduled me for an ultrasound. I think it was like 3 days later, and the ultrasound said that I had actually miscarried around 7 weeks 4 days, or 7 weeks 3 days, or something like that. So the baby had stopped at 7 weeks plus, and I had no symptoms at all of a miscarriage, and I was at 12 weeks. So I was given the option, like everyone else usually, you miscarry naturally, or have a D&C or take a pill. Because of my job, first initially, the doctor was kind of pushing me waiting and miscarrying to miscarry naturally. And so I left the hospital, and obviously I was a hot mess. My boyfriend didn't even know what to do with me that day. I felt so bad for him. Cried all night. And then the next day I was just like, no, I can't do this. Like, I can't just wait, especially because of my job. I can be in an unexpected situation, and that's the last time that I want to be all of a sudden start bleeding and cramping and passing clots and stuff like that. So I then called the next day and called the doctor's clinic and asked if I could make an appointment for a D&C. So then they got me in the following day. So 2 days later, after finding out I had a miscarriage, I got a D&C. And that, for me, personally, that was the best thing for me. Not only just because of my job, but the day you find out that you've miscarried, it's a huge, huge loss. It hurts, it just sucks. And especially if you have a missed miscarriage, then you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I've been going through all of these symptoms and this stuff. You're like almost at 12 weeks, so you know you're about to start thinking of buying things and telling family, and you're like, you're so sure that everything is fine, and then to find out that it's not fine, and it hasn't been fine for, in my case, like 4 weeks, and then it's been 4 weeks, and how much longer would my body take to realize that this pregnancy is not viable and to let everything go? Like, I had no idea. So that's really hard. So the first day of finding out was just incredibly emotional. I cried all day. And then like close to the evening, I couldn't even cry anymore. Like, there was just like no more tears in my body. Like, I was just so exhausted and just like defeated that I couldn't even cry anymore. And that was a lot of the grieving for me. So the next day, obviously I was still upset. I didn't cry nearly as much. I was just kind of, like, just, this sucks kind of thing. But it was okay. Well, it's done. I've done all my crying. I don't want to have to go through all of this again. Because let's say it happens in 3 weeks that I actually naturally miscarry, then I'm going to go through all of those feelings and crying and hurt all over again. Like, seeing clumps pass out and then knowing that you're passing your baby, like, that's just not appealing to me in the slightest. So I decided to get a D&C. It wasn't scary. I know a lot of people are scared to do it, and it's not scary. I hate needles, but they give you a needle, you pass out, and then you wake up and it's done. And then you just have some light bleeding and cramping like you would a period after that for, I don't know, like a week or something like that. But so that's my story with the miscarriage. And a lot of the stories that I had seen online, everyone had normal miscarriage symptoms, like, bleeding or light bleeding followed by heavier bleeding and some cramping and then passing clots. And so it was kind of known like that's what was happening. And for me, I always thought that that's how miscarriages went. So fast forward, now I'm pregnant again and I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. I don't know how I'm gonna make it through like the next 5 weeks, no, 6, 7 weeks, until I get to like the 12-week mark and I hear a heartbeat and I see it. I don't know how I'm gonna make it to that point sanely, because I just don't know. I don't know. So I wanted to share my journey with you guys. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was having some cramping, and like mild, you know, your pre-period cramping. And so I was thinking, okay, my period's gonna come like any second now. It's gonna come any second now. And it didn't. But I've still been having those cramps up until even now. Like right now I'm having cramps. Nothing heavy, painful or anything, not sharp, just like a dull, annoying ache. And so I've been having that. So I've accepted that that's kind of normal for me now. I used to have really horrible menstrual cramps, so I think maybe cramping is just kind of something that my body does. But then one day last week, Saturday, I had some light bleeding, like light, bright red blood. But it was after being intimate. So I had obviously ran online to Google, and Google said that's fine, that's common because of all of the increased blood flow going to your nether regions. The vessels are engorged, and if you're having sex, you can kind of penetrate one and pop it, and you might get some bleeding. It's very sensitive down there at this stage. So everything I read said that was fine. So I didn't really concern myself with it. I wasn't having any cramping. And then the next day I had some light brown spotting, and I thought it was just kind of maybe some leftover blood from the day before. And then the next day I had even more brown spotting, and I was having a little bit of cramping as well. And I didn't know if the cramping was just kind of because of cramping I was having or because of something was going wrong. So that what brought me to Tuesday. So Wednesday morning I got up and I booked it to the clinic and told the doctor, because I couldn't get in with my doctor until July 4th. That's when my first appointment is. Because we were moving clinics, so I couldn't get in with her until July 4th, so I had to go to a walk-in. So I did that, told him what was going on. He didn't seem very optimistic about anything. He was like, ooh, that doesn't sound so good. Well, we can do an HCG test, blood test. You'll do one today, and you come back in 48 hours, which would have been last Friday, and do the other blood test. So that's what I did. I got my blood drawn that day. It poked me twice. It hurt. I didn't enjoy it. Then on Friday, I went back. And then yesterday, being Monday, I got the results back and everything was a-okay. My levels had doubled as they're supposed to. So far, so good, I suppose. It's still really early. Things can change. So I will just wait and see, I guess. But I just wanted to share this with you guys in case someone else has maybe had a miscarriage like I've had, a miscarriage, and you're pregnant again, or you're concerned about getting pregnant again, and you're just curious and want more information, because we as humans want all the information we can get. I hope that this video can help you, or even if you're pregnant for the first time and you're just scared of a miscarriage, you don't know what to expect if you do have a miscarriage. There's tons of brave women who share their stories. All miscarriages are different. They're not all the exact same. So that's kind of what my story is. I don't know how this is gonna all turn out. So if you're interested in me telling you more, like how everything goes, I certainly don't mind sharing. Maybe this might be another miscarriage in the works and I have some sort of medical problem going on, and that's something I would love to share, because I'm not the only woman in the world who's probably going to go through whatever I do go through. So yeah, I will I will keep you guys posted, and I really hope this helps somebody. I just feel like I get a lot of comfort in watching YouTube videos, and I feel like if I'm getting something good out of it, maybe I can kind of give back in general to somebody and make someone feel just as good as I end up feeling, or feeling like a little more understood. I like to help someone else feel like they're not alone and that they're understood. So that is pretty much everything for me right now. I guess in terms of symptoms, other than cramping on and off here and there, my boobs really aren't that sore. Like the nipple is a little bit sore, like if you were to poke at it, but I'm not gonna just sit there and poke my nipple all the time. So really my boobs aren't that sore. When I get hungry, I'm hungry now. I need to eat this second. I do get a little, I think it's a little bit of queasiness. I'm not 100% sure. I've never been one to throw up. I don't really ever get sick. So I do think I get a little bit of queasiness, and I think it's just when I'm hungry. I don't know, the hunger that I feel though is like such an empty gaping pit in my stomach that I don't know if it's hunger, if it's queasiness. I'm not 100% sure, but I eat and everything seems to be okay. Nothing is making me sick, but I don't want to eat anything really. Like the thought of making supper, it's like what in the world can I make? Like there's nothing to make, even though I have all the ingredients in my fridge that I normally have and have seemed to do just fine with all of the things that I have right now. Before, for some reason, having chicken and everything in the fridge, I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, what do I make? Like, what can I have? Nothing sounds really good. So that's that right now. I do think I'm getting a slight aversion to chicken though. I personally love chicken. I don't like meat on the bone. It's gross. It's disgusting. It grosses me out. I've never liked it. But over the last 2 weeks, there was one day that my boyfriend had made me a barbecue chicken, and at first he doesn't season anything. So that right there I know is why it was probably gross. That's what I had chalked up to. But something about the smell of it and the taste just turned me right off. And then another day I had chicken and there was just one bite and something about the texture. I was just like, no, that's gross. And then I didn't finish eating it. I was almost done with chicken anyway, so I thought maybe it was just like a slightly, I like my chicken really cooked, and some people make it really soft, like almost gummy. And I thought maybe that's what it was. And then yesterday we went out for supper and I had a Southwest salad and it had chicken in it and it smelled horrible, like just disgusting. And so I was eating around the chicken and then I was like, well, maybe it's not the chicken. And I took a bite with chicken and I wanted to just spit it out. Not throw up, but just spit it out. It was gross. I did not like it. So I think I have a chicken intolerance and I'm not really sure what to do about it. So we'll see. I have some in the fridge that I have to make and I have to do it. So I just gotta find a good recipe for it and suck it up. But other than that, no other symptoms. I'm taking prenatal vitamins and just have to wait till my doctor's appointment, which would be July 4th. And that will bring me to around 7 weeks and 3 days, I believe. So in my 8th week before I have my first doctor's appointment. So I will keep you guys posted with any changes. Okay, bye.